Hi everyone, Jasmine here. How is everyone doing this evening? I hope well. I am super excited to be here tonight with all of you, talking about how to get selected for more sponsored blog post opportunities. And I'm going to be sharing my best tips with all of you today and give you some really cool resources that you can work with too. So, thanks for jumping on. I see we have a few people on already. So, before we get into everything, I want to know more about who's joining me today. So, if you are here, why don't you post in the comments where in the world are you? I know we had quite a few people RSVP from different countries, different cities, different states. So, I would love to hear where y'all are all from. So go ahead and keep posting, and we're going to give it a few minutes just to let people jump in. So feel free to say hi in the comments and tell me where you're at. Okay, so I'm just taking a look at my comments here. Awesome. Hi, Shani. I see you're from Ohio. Funny, I am also from Ohio. I live in San Antonio, Texas now, but I'm originally from Cleveland. So, small world. Welcome. Thanks for joining. As you guys jump on, feel free to post where in the world you're from, and we can get started in a little bit here once everyone else jumps on. All right. I am super excited to be here. I hope y'all are too. And don't be shy. I want you guys to know that I'm going to be covering my tips on how to get selected for more sponsored post opportunities. But I am going to open the floor in the end for you guys to ask me questions. So if you have any questions about sponsored blog post opportunities, feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll make sure that we get to them in the end. All right. So I see we still have people trickling in. As you are coming in, make sure that you post in the comments where in the world you're from, and I'll give you a quick little shout here. Just I want to know where everyone is. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm going to be talking a lot about how to get selected for more blog post opportunities. I'm looking at myself and I see a reflection of myself in my glasses, so I'm going to take those off just so that I don't look at myself in the reflection. Hi. I'm not typically wearing my glasses when I'm doing my videos. Um, all right, so jumping on in, I see we have a few people here. Uh, Hi everyone. Let me know who's here and where in the world you're from, and I'll give you a quick little shout here. Okay, so I want to start by just going over a little bit of the basics here when it comes to sponsor post opportunities. And the first thing you want to know is, or you have to know, is what exactly is a sponsor post opportunity. So, a sponsor post opportunity is when you have brands that are willing to work with you and they pay you a certain fee to write about them on your blog. Now, this is just one way to monetize your blog. Obviously, there are multiple ways. You could do affiliate marketing, you can build products, you can do advertising. I personally love sponsored posts just because, and I'm gonna talk about this a little later. Sponsor posts have a special part in my heart because it was the first time I actually made, I call it real money, with my blog. Prior to getting started with sponsored posts, I was just doing advertising. I signed up for Google AdSense, which I know is something that most bloggers do. It's the first step to monetizing your blog, right? So I was used to making $1 here, $2 there every month, and that's when I felt like I was doing good. That was better than my 3 cent months with advertising. So the first sponsored opportunity that I got, I was emailed by a brand, and they said, "Hey, we want you to talk about this product. We'll send it to you in the mail, and we'll pay you $50 to write about it, write a blog post. Now, I was already working on several blog posts on my blog, and this was the first one that someone was going to pay me $50 to write about it. So I was just ecstatic when I saw that people were willing to pay me to write a blog post, just feature their brand. The blog post didn't even have to be about their brand. It wasn't, this is why you should buy this product that this brand gave me. It was just, can you just mention us in one of the paragraphs? So I said, heck yeah, $50, I'll do that. Mentioned them in the article, and I have not looked back ever since. Sponsored posts have had a special part in my heart ever since then. So I was super excited when I got paid that, and it just led me on this whole journey to learning more about how I can make money with sponsored posts. And I eventually got to a point where I had brands pay me thousands of dollars for a single blog post. But it did take a lot of learning. It took a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes. And I wanted to share today what some of those things are that I learned about sponsor ops and how to get selected for them. So I talked about what a sponsor opportunity is. I think something else that is important to know when it comes to making money with sponsored opportunities or getting selected for those is knowing where to go to actually get the sponsored ops, right? So this is something that I struggle with for a little bit because I was emailed. Someone emailed me and said, hey, I want to work with you. So I didn't know where to go to get this opportunity or get more opportunities like this. So I found out about something called influencer networks. And what an influencer network is a company that they're out there finding brands for you to write sponsored posts. Well, I found one I liked. My favorite one that I enjoy is IZEA. That's spelled IZEA. And they have so many different brands. They're perfect for like a lifestyle blogger because it really ranges with the different kinds of opportunities that they get. And it was just really good as far as like going and applying for different opportunities. They always had different brands that they were working with. So I really appreciated that influencer network. But I eventually reached a point where I had applied to everything there was to apply for, and I was looking for other opportunities that I could apply for. Fast forward, a lot of researching and just obsessive Googling about where to find sponsored post opportunities. I made a list for myself where I have 126 sponsored posts brands, or not brands, but just companies similar to IZEA, where you can create a free profile, put all your information in there about social media, and then you just go through and apply for different opportunities. I kept this list for years, cultivated it, and now I have a list of 126 different sponsor opportunities. I am not kidding. 126, and there are more being added to that as we speak. So I want to start by just giving you guys that resource. I have the link in the comments. Boom, I just added it for you guys. You do have to sign up for my list so it can be emailed to you. But it's my full list. You just click on each name. It takes you to the website, so you can go ahead and obsessively apply to all the different sponsored post opportunities. So one of the biggest hurdles I had to get over was where to find different sponsored post ops. And I developed that list along the way, and I hope it's helpful for you guys too when it comes to just being able to find different sponsor post opportunities, because it's tough. It is so hard to find a good channel and be able to look and find opportunities that actually pay too. I tell you, I did get a lot of emails where people asking me if I was willing to write a blog post in exchange for just something free, like a free container or something I just had no interest in whatsoever. After I got that $50, like I became a little bit of a blog snob. I will admit that right now, because I'm like, excuse me, I was already paid $50 for a blog post. I don't take just items that I'm not looking for free. Now, I will say that I have receive product in exchange for a blog post without pay, but it's usually if it's something that I'm very interested in. And that's if a lot of times if I'm seeking them out, like if I wanted a free stay at a hotel or something. I've definitely done blog posts in exchange for that without pay. But it really just depends. Once you get to that level of just getting paid, that first time you get paid, it will change you. I'll tell you that right now. So you have that. So once you get into those channels, another important thing that you want to do is make sure you're completing your profiles. So a mistake I ran into is I told you I was obsessively Googling for different influencer networks. And I was just signing up, signing up, signing up. But something I did not do, sorry about that, something I did not do was create my profile in each of those channels. So what they'll do in a lot of these channels when they create a profile is they want to know what your blog name is. They want to know who is your target audience, what's your about bio information. So they want to know all of those things about you. And of course, they want you to connect your social media because brands want to know what is your social media following. They want to know who you're targeting. It's pretty much like building a media kit within their platforms. So that gives you an opportunity to put yourself out there so brands can contact you and find you. So that's something that you want to make sure you do. I know that my list may be a little overwhelming once you guys download it. There's a lot, like I said, 126 different brands on there. Take it day by day. I say find, 3 to 5 to sign up for a day and make sure you're completing the profile completely. A little tip that I would do is I would have all my social media accounts open in different tabs. So I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, if you use LinkedIn. And once I get to the questions where they say, okay, what's the link to your Facebook? What's the link to your Twitter? How many Instagram followers do you have? It was really easy to just plug and play. So knocking those out a few times, a few profiles a day makes things a lot easier. Okay, so let's take a step back and just make sure that we have all the information that I've talked about so far. One, what are sponsored opportunities? That's when a brand pays you to write blog posts for them. Two, where do you find different paid opportunities? And that is influencer networks. And if you don't know which influencer networks to sign up for, I provided my list of different sponsored post opportunities in the comments below. Make sure you grab that link. You do have to put your email address in so I can email you the list. But it has 126 influencer networks that you can sign up for so that you can start seeing more sponsored post opportunities. All right. And then my third tip was completing your profile. So once you have all of those channels and you know where to go, you create an account on them. You want to make sure to complete the profiles because that is how brands can find you and have them reach out to you as opposed to the other way around. So now let's talk about the other side of this. We found those opportunities. What do we do now to get accepted for more of those ops outside of completing our profiles, of course? The next thing you want to do is making sure you're logging in daily. So daily may sound a little obsessive, but I'll tell you exactly what I did every day when I was still developing my strategy for landing more blogging opportunities. I dedicated 2 to 4 hours a day to logging into all of these channels, every single channel on my list, looking through the various opportunities and seeing which ones were viable for me, meaning they paid the amount that I was willing to accept for a blog post, and they were actually a company that I was interested in. So once I got through that whole list, then I had to go through and apply for all of those. So I will go through this entire list, and on a day-to-day basis, I would come up with maybe 10 to 15 different opportunities I could apply for. Applying was fairly simple just because I was doing them all at once. So I was already in that same mindset with it. but it did take a lot of time. And I've told other bloggers this before. They said, "Well, how did you do it? How did you get to the point where you were able to write 3 to 5 sponsored posts a month?" Because that's where I was when I was at the peak of my sponsored posts, applying and writing. And I told them I would spend 2 to 4 hours a day just applying for opportunities. Because at the end of the day, yes, you want to make sure that you're focused on um, applying to the right opportunities for yourself, but it is a numbers game too. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are applying to enough opportunities so you can create enough. You're not going to get accepted to every single one, but if you are logging in daily and you are applying, then you should be good to go. You're going to see it if you're persistent. Now, I will say that it did get tiring really quickly, logging in for 2 to 4 hours a day to apply to multiple different opportunities for my blog. It was time consuming. I love the application process because it did give me an opportunity to brainstorm about, okay, if I was going to write about this brand, how would I position it? How would I really make it so that it integrates well with my content? So I did like applying. I did not like having to scour every single channel for the opportunities. That just drove me nuts. So um, I figured out a way to make it so that my team who works with me could do that for me instead. So that made things a lot easier. So every day I would just get a list of the viable options instead of me going through these 100 channels. I got a list of the best opportunities that, based on the type of content that we wrote, would be best for me to write them. And I told people about this, and they were like, "Wow, that's so smart." But I can't afford to have a virtual assistant myself. My blog's still small. I can't do that. And I said, that makes perfect sense. And I eventually stopped telling people my strategy for how I did it. But then I got the idea last year, actually, to come up with a way to share that resource with other bloggers. And that's when I created the Blogging Money Update. So what the Blogging Money Update is exactly what I described to you. My virtual assistant is going through each of those channels and seeing which ones are actually good, meaning they actually pay. They pay a certain amount and they seem like a legitimate company. And she puts that into a list for me. And what I do is I send that email out 3 days a week to people on my list so that they don't have to scour all of those websites. Now, I will say you still have to have a profile on those channels. So the steps I already talked about, finding the influencer networks and creating a profile, that's important. But you don't have to log into each and every one every day. You only log into the ones where you know there is going to be an opportunity on the other side. So I'll share my link to Blogging Money Update for y'all. It is a paid subscription. You pay monthly for it, and you get between 30 and 45 different opportunities a month. So I've had really good feedback from it. It's been going for a little over a year. We just had our 1 year anniversary in February for Blogging Money Update. So if you want to learn more about that, I just put the link to that in the comments. So that's not something you have to do. It is a great alternative if you are short on time, like I was. I have a full-time job, you guys. And I understand that most people don't have 2 to 4 hours a day to dedicate to applying for different opportunities or just looking for opportunities to apply for them. And that's what the Blogging Money Update does. It makes it so that you can see those opportunities to monetize your blog right in front of you. All right, so that's in the comments. Let's move on and talk more about that application process. So I mentioned that I actually enjoy the application process when it comes to different sponsored post opportunities. I've written for so many different brands at this point. Some I wouldn't even thought that I would love. Brands like At a Glance. I work with them pretty much every year at this point for their agendas. And I really like that brand. I've worked with different mattress brands, water bottles. I've worked with laptop companies. I've even received a free vacation before for writing a blog post. And yes, I got a free vacation and I was paid for that opportunity. So it really does range in regard to the different kinds of brands that you can work with and the different perks of writing sponsored posts. Um, but that's kind of why I love it so much because you can get paid, yes, and you can get paid well. At this point, I've been paid anywhere between $500 for a blog post to $2,000 for a blog post. But sometimes it's more about the perks of what you're going to get as opposed to what you're getting paid. Um, so yeah, there's just a lot of perks to doing sponsored opportunities that I love. I know that it does require work when it comes to having to write the blog post and then getting paid in exchange for that, where it's not as passive like doing a affiliate marketing. But man, there's just so much joy and being able to say, I'm a paid writer. I have brands that pay me to write blog posts. So yeah, I love it. So just getting into the application process, you want to make sure that you're thorough. This leads me to my next tip, which is being thorough in your applications. So you have an opportunity that you found on one of the influencer networks, and now you want to apply to the opportunity, right? So what's important for you to do at that point is be authentic. Now, this can be difficult too because if you are applying to 10 in one sitting or 5 applications in one sitting, I can see by the time you get to number 4 or number 5, you're like, okay, I'm tired. I'm just going to fill in the stuff that I have to fill in and keep going. And that would be a mistake you do not want to make. And here's why. Because they're looking at every single answer and comparing you to 50 plus other bloggers. I think about it like you would apply for a job application. Would you just fill in the blanks? And when they say, okay, tell me more about your career, would you say, NA? So you don't want to leave any empty spaces when it comes to your applications. Be thorough, put some thought into it. If they ask you a question about, so how would you write an article about this topic? Be honest and really think about it. Think about how you could make it so that it works well for your audience. I love to talk about my audience when I'm applying for different sponsored post opportunities. I am targeted for Miss Mill magazine. We are focused on millennial women who are career driven and money focused. So for that audience, I tell them, hey, this is my audience, and we're really interested in growing our careers. So that's why we think pursuing this particular product would be very interesting for them. And here's the angle that I thought of because of this personal thing that happened to me in my life. And that's why I think that I would be a great fit for it. So that may seem like a little bit too much information, or do they really need to know who my audience is and these personal things that happen to me? But when it comes down to it, the reason why brands decide to go to bloggers is because they want your personality. They want you to meld that into the article. They don't want you to write 10 reasons why you should buy product X. I actually have a rule at Miss Mill that we're not allowed to talk about a brand in the title of the article when we're writing a sponsored post. And that's just because I loathe salesy type sponsored ops. And I when I see them on other bloggers, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to click that. This is obviously them trying to sell me something. But when I see a title that's like 5 ways you can get better sleep, now I'm looking at that like, wow, I can get something from this. And if there happens to be a brand in there about mattresses or something, that's fine because I still got something from this article. And who knows, they may have convinced me that this mattress is what I need to buy. So it's just a completely different approach. Be thorough. Really think through what you would do for that brand if you were to get their business. So that's my little tip I have there. I'm going to take a quick step back just to remind you guys that I will be taking questions in the end. So if you have any questions at all about sponsored ops or any of the tips that I'm giving you guys today, make sure that you add them into the comments and I will be happy to answer them in the end once I get through all of my tips. If you have questions too, just about blogging, I'm happy to answer those as well. I am excited to talk more about it. I love talking about blogging if you guys haven't noticed already. So, yeah, feel free to share your questions and I'll answer them in the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I want to talk a little bit about the last step when it comes to sponsored opportunities, and that is that you want to make sure that you're continuing to learn. I can tell you that I've taken not one, not two. I've actually taken multiple courses on sponsored posts, and every course is a little bit different. It's something that I found. One may focus more on pitching brands, while another one may focus more on how to make sure you're writing that great quality content that brands want to come back for. Um, and I've learned something from every single one of them. Sponsored posts are just a special thing to me when it comes to not only creating great content for your audience, but also being able to, you have to be able to negotiate for yourself. So we've had, brands come to us before and say, hey, I'm willing to pay you $50 if you write a 2,000 word article for me. Um, and I told you before, like I became a little bit of a blog snob when someone tried to offer me something for free in exchange for a blog post when I had already been paid $50. I'm like, no, I've been paid before. I'm not going back to that. That's beneath me. Um, and I kind of feel the same way if someone pitches me a price that I feel like does not meet the standards that I'm offering them in the blog post I'm writing. Um, so you have to get to a point where you are okay with negotiating for yourself, pushing back and saying, okay, I know you said that $300 is what you typically pay for this, but this is why my article that I'm going to write for you is going to be worth $800. And there is a little bit of a negotiating process for most of the sponsored opportunities that I do. And once you've learned that for yourself, man, it's freeing. And the more brands you have underneath your belt that you work with, the more brands want to work with you. They'll see, wow, she worked with Lenovo and TurboTax and all these other places. I think I'm in good hands if I work with her. So that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to the benefits of continuing to learn. I know that there's always hurdles when it comes to how do I know when it's a good time for me to be learning or to spend money on a course, I guess is a good way to put it. Because I know it's different for everyone. For me, I got to a point where if I could afford a course because my blog would pay for it, then I know that I'm in good hands and I should probably get this course. Um, One tip I will tell you, there are three things that I have spent money on with my blog that I have not regretted. And I will tell you what those three things are now. Um, the first thing is learning. I have never regretted. Well, I have with some courses I've taken. Like, man, this was a waste of money. But for the most part, I have not regretted investing in learning. Even if I do get a course that isn't that great, there's usually a few things here and there that I can pull out of it that can benefit me and my blog. So investing in learning like courses or training or different certifications, if that would help you with your blog, has always been something that I felt was good for me in regards to my spending. Another thing that I have never really thought of a bad idea to purchase when you are a blogger or invest in is tools. So there are a ton of tools out there. I'm always happy when I find a company that is solely created for bloggers. Companies like Tailwind. Tailwind is a great social media sharing platform where they're focused solely on Pinterest. And they definitely have bloggers in mind when it comes to what they develop and how they develop things. I feel the exact same way about ConvertKit. Really great company. They talk about content creators and they develop new things based on bloggers. They have them in mind. So tools, that's another thing that I have not regretted spending money on when it comes to my blog. The third thing I will say that I have not regretted when it comes to investing in my blog is coaching. I've had multiple blogging coaches. I actually have a blog coach right now who's teaching me a lot of things. I learn new things from her every day, despite the fact that I've been blogging myself for 9 years. But it's not something that I have neglected. Every single coach I've had, I have learned something from, and they have helped me grow my blog with traffic, with money, just a variety of different things. So those are the big three things when I say if you're going to spend money with your blog, you should invest in learning, a blog coach, and tools. So those are the big three things, if that makes you feel more comfortable. And it really is important to learn those things if you're trying to monetize. I was doing this for a long time by myself, didn't even know that blog coaches or training existed. And once I started to take more courses from other bloggers who had been successful, I saw a huge jump in just everything with my blog. So continuing to learn is super important. With that being said, I actually developed a course myself to make things easier for bloggers who are struggling with getting more sponsored post opportunities. So I told you guys that I created Blogging Money Update because I heard from a lot of bloggers that they just didn't have the resources. They didn't have a virtual assistant yet at this point to be able to help them find different opportunities. So for the people who signed up for Blogging Money Update, I was hearing back from them that they were having trouble getting selected. So they were getting the right opportunities in front of them, but for whatever reason, they apply, and no company seemed interested in them. And that is why I decided to develop the Blogging Money Formula. So before I get into that, I want to just share again, I will be answering questions in the end. I saw one just come in. If you guys have more questions for me, add them in and I will make sure to answer them in the end. So just jumping right back in, Blogging Money Formula is something that I created and we are actually accepting beta members right now. So what it does is it teaches you how to make more money with your blog with sponsored post opportunities. That ranges from how to get selected for opportunities, different tips and tricks with applying, making sure that you're putting yourself out there as a professional blogger. We talk a lot about the different foundational things you can do on your website so that you have brands that are actually coming to you instead of you actually having to go to them, which I know for many of you is that would be huge considering I know a lot of the people in my audience, they have full-time jobs or they have families or children that they have to work with, and it's hard to get that extra time to apply for different opportunities. So we talk about that. I talk about different things you can do within your blog to grow your traffic so that you do have brands that are more interested in working with you. So it's not just something where I'm showing you, okay, here's what you do so that you get selected more often for opportunities. I mean, technically, yes, that is a result of it. But at the end of the day, this just gives you a great foundation overall so that you have the whole package. Brands look at you and they say, this blogger is a whole package. This is who I'm looking to work with. They're professional. And after they work with you that first time, they want to continue to work with you. I told you I have some brands that I work with every single year, like clockwork, because we just had that great relationship. And if they got great work from me before, and now they want to get great work from me again. And that takes us, I know this isn't like a passive income stream, but that does make it a little bit more passive, knowing that you have a brand that wants to continue to work with you. So those are the things that I teach you guys when it comes to Blogging Money Formula. Now, this is a new program that I am running. I add the link to Blogging Money Formula in the comments, so you can check that out if you're interested in it. It's only available to be added to our beta membership by Sunday of this week. After that, we are closing the doors and the beta membership will no longer be open. Because this is my beta, Not only am I going to be taking the new members who are joining me's questions and concerns into consideration when I'm developing the course, but I'm also offering a 50% discount for anyone who wants to join Blogging Money Formula this week. After this, it's going to be full price when it goes on sale later this year. And you won't have the ability to sway my reasoning on what needs to be added or what needs to be changed. So there's that benefit. Another benefit to beta members is that they are going to get weekly Q&As with me in our private Facebook group. So you'll have that as well. Just like I'm going to answer you guys' questions in the end of this, and I see them coming in. Great, keep them coming. I'll have that opportunity to answer your questions every single week, as well as having access to me in our Facebook group where I can answer your questions via chat every single day. So that's another benefit for beta members. I'm also offering a few bonuses for my beta members as well. I mentioned how it's way more than just making sure that your blog is ready to accept sponsored posts. It's making sure you get great traffic and other things. 3 bonuses that I'm offering for my beta members is my Rapid Instagram course. It's my ebook I created that has the most important things you need to do with your Instagram account so that you can get 10,000 followers. Now, I say 10,000 because for me, I purposely grew my Instagram account because I noticed that brands are willing to pay you top dollar just to post on your Instagram. But they weren't willing to work with me until I got to 10,000 followers. I managed to get there within a few months, and I have the strategies that I use to get there in that ebook. The other thing that I have is my efficient blogging schedule, because one thing that a lot of brands look for is consistency. So this workbook shows you how to be more consistent with your blog and helps you build a schedule so that you can do that. So that's included as one of my bonuses. And then the last bonus that you get is the social media traffic blast. So everyone knows that you can pay for traffic, obviously, with advertising. But with the social media traffic blast, I show you organic ways that you can grow your traffic through social media. And I'm telling you the exact steps that I do for my blog, Miss Millennium Magazine. And we get over 50,000 page views every single month. We don't pay for advertising on a monthly basis. We do from time to time for little products here and there, but never for our blog content. And it's all organic. It's through using Pinterest, Facebook, and other social media platforms. So my training, which is like a mini course within itself, is also included in this. So all of this is for my beta members. It's only available for a limited time, like I mentioned, until Sunday of this week. If you guys have any questions at all about Blogging Money Formula, you can ask them in the comments below as well. Or you can send me an email to editors. So it's editors at missmilmag.com. Oh, actually here, let me put that into the comments too. Then you can email me. You can email me if you have questions later on as well. So let me add that for you. Email me if you have questions. Perfect. Okay, so I added that to the comments too. Hopefully I didn't have any typos. Okay, no, we're good. All right, so that's Blogging Money Formula. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I created it because a lot of my clients for Blogging Money Update, as well as other bloggers I was working with, 101 really had questions about knowing if they're ready to get sponsored post opportunities. They want to know, how did they get selected? They're paying to make sure that brands come to them. So how did they get brands to bite back and actually work with them? So that's what Blogging Money Formula is attempting to solve. And it's not just, okay, do these things and now you're going to get selected more. It starts with a great foundation. So we talk a lot about that too. So all that is covered. It's 50% off. I'm really excited about who my founding members are going to be because we're going to get really close. I feel like I'm already pretty close with the people who are in my Facebook group. So super excited about that. But yeah, check it out. Learn more about it and let me know if you have questions. All right. So now I'm ready to answer some questions that you guys have when it comes to sponsored posts. If you have questions while I'm going through these questions, feel free to add them in the comments and I'll answer those for you too. All right, let's jump right in. Let me see what the first question is here. All right, so first question comes from Cheslia. All right, so where do you find a personal blogging coach? I will tell you, Cheslia, what I did to find a personal blogging coach. I Googled blog coach. like I knew that there was like live coaches, right? But I needed someone to just kind of just guide me and tell me what the heck am I doing wrong with my blog, because I was getting frustrated. I needed someone to just look at it and tell me what's wrong with it. Yeah, I just searched blog coach. I didn't know it existed, and apparently it did. I contacted the first person I saw that had a reasonable price, and that was it. I did a Skype call with them, and it was because I didn't have any money at the time. I think the first person I worked with, I had to pay her $50 every 30 minutes. So it was kind of expensive, and I had a list of questions ready to go. Like, okay, here's all the questions I have. Let's go. Tell me, how can I fix this? She's pretty successful now. So right then it was a steal. I'm sure she charges thousands of dollars now for her time. But it just goes to show you like how important it is to just have that guidance. That has been huge for me. I will tell you, if you are going to go with a blog coach, brace yourself, because they're going to tell you some things you may not want to hear, which happened to me every single time I had a blog coach. But they're telling you this because they want you to grow, not because they're picking on you or telling you that your baby's ugly. They're telling you these things so that you can grow. So yeah, I say just do a Google search. I will say that I do a lot of hand holding with Blogging Money Formula if you are going to look for a blog coach. So if you post a link to your website in our group and say, Jasmine, what's wrong with it? Tell me. I'm happy to jump in there and tell you what's wrong with it. Just be ready for me to be honest. So I'll tell you that. All right, next question is from Jenny. Hi, Jenny. How does a virtual assistant work? Okay, so I'll tell you, a virtual assistant can be whatever you want it to be. Anything that you don't want to do in your business, your blogging business, they can do it for you. You just have to be willing to pay them an hourly rate to do it. I currently have 2 virtual assistants and an editor for my blog. They're awesome. I love them. And yeah, they help me from things such as posting on social media. One of our virtual assistants, she creates all of my social media posts. So all the images you guys see from Miss Millennium Magazine, including the image for this event, was created by my virtual assistant. So yeah, it's just a variety of different things they can do. I will say that when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant, you want to be mindful of what you have them doing. For me, I like to hire people who are going to make me money. So I'm not going to spend money if they're not going to make me any. So I make sure that they focus on tasks that can bring an income for me. I think creating images that can make sure that my blogs get traffic is pretty important. So I thought that was a really good asset to invest in for my blog. So yeah, that's pretty much how they work. If I didn't answer your question properly, let me know. Lexi said we love you too. Lexi's my editor, you guys. Thanks, Lexi. Let's see here. So, do you think that a beginner can still apply for sponsored post opportunities? Yes, Jenny, I do. So I'll tell you the story I told in the beginning here is I have such a great part in my heart for sponsored post opportunities because it was my first time making real money. I say real money, it was $50. But prior to that, I was making, $1 a month or sometimes 3 cents a month just using Google AdSense. Like that's all I was making. So when I made $50, I was excited. Now, I will tell you that when I made that $50, I was not balling with traffic. Okay, I wasn't getting a whole lot of it. If I remember correctly, I was getting anywhere between 800 and 1,000 page views a month. I mean, it was dismal. Like I wasn't getting a whole lot. But it turned out that the person who contacted me said, "Hey, I really want to target millennial women, and I know your blog is for millennial women. So can you promote this product? We'll pay you $50." So there's a lot of other things that go into getting selected for sponsored post opportunities. It's not just about your traffic. Don't get me wrong, like your traffic and your social media numbers, those things are important and brands are looking at those things. But that's not the only things that they're looking for. I'll tell you another story. Something that my husband and I did for a while. We were selling stainless steel French presses on Amazon. And me being a blogger myself, I said, I know exactly how we're going to promote these French presses. I'm going to reach out to bloggers because I'm all about, other bloggers. Um, I'll tell you that we did reach out to a number of bloggers, but it was a very short list because we only wanted coffee bloggers. I don't know how many coffee bloggers you know. Um, there ain't a whole lot of them, but for all the ones that I got a reply from, you better believe I worked with them. We paid them, we sent them a free French press, and everything was great. Some of them only had 500 page views in a month. Some of them had, 20,000 plus page views in a month. We really didn't care because we really wanted to target their audience, which is the same people we were trying to sell to. So just keep that in mind. Your niche plays a role. Your engagement plays a role. I don't think that you can be in a point where you're like, oh, I don't have enough traffic. No, brands are interested in me. That plays a role, but I don't think it's the sole reason why you wouldn't be selected for sponsored post opportunities. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Okay, let's see. We have some more questions here. Okay, so Cheslius asks, will they review your blog and give you feedback? Um, that depends on who it is. It really varies. This is the wild, wild west out there when it comes to blog coaches. Um, I have had bloggers review my blog and give me feedback. I'm trying to think. I've had three blog coaches. The first one definitely did. Well, the first one, I just gave her questions. So she didn't review my blog and give me feedback. The second and third one, yes, they reviewed my blog and they gave me feedback on what was missing from it or things I could improve on. And even though I had a blog coach before and they gave me feedback and it like hurt my heart to hear the things that was wrong with my site, even when I got the next blog coach, the exact same thing happened. Like, oh, it's like a dagger to the heart. Oh, you talking about my baby? And you're telling me it's ugly. It's not. You definitely brace yourself for getting that. I think that that's something that they probably typically do, but it just ranges from blogger to blogger. That's something I definitely do when it comes to people who join Blogging Money Formula. I actually have an onboarding questionnaire that anyone who joins has to fill out, just telling me about where they are with their blog, what are their goals with it, and if there is any low-hanging fruit, I make sure to cover that. I actually have that as one of my early bird bonuses for people who wanted to sign up. I would do a video review. So um, I'll give you a list of questions about your blog, and you answer them from me, and then I'll go over your blog and find the low hanging fruit. Different ways for you to monetize. It may or may not be sponsored posts. It may mean you need to add some different things to it or take some things away from your blog. So that's just one of our early bird bonuses we were offering. Actually, something that I was thinking about doing today, and since you guys have been so awesome, is actually extending those early bird bonuses for anyone who's on the call today. So I'll tell you what the early bird bonuses were. One is a 6-month subscription for Blogging Money Update. I told you guys about that newsletter where it sends you different opportunities every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so that's a free 6-month subscription. Really, that's a $179 value. That's how much it costs for a 6-month subscription for Blogging Money Update. You would get that for free for joining Blogging Money Formula. The other thing was just reviewing your blog. So, like I said, you fill out a form, I read over the form, and then I give you feedback on low-hanging fruit on your blog. That's a $150 value that you're getting for free just for joining. So I tell you what, if you sign up for Blogging Money Formula today, just send me an email to editors after you sign up and say, hey, I was on the Facebook Live meeting with you earlier. I'll make sure that you get both of those bonuses, a review of your blog and the 6-month subscription for Blogging Money Update, just included. Just because I appreciate you coming and participating with me today. Awesome. All right, so let me jump in and answer any other questions we have here. You're welcome, Jenny. No problem. Thanks for bringing questions. Okay, Cheslia. Am I saying your name right, Cheslia? I feel like I'm butchering it every time. Okay, so we should work on getting our traffic numbers and social media numbers up first, really, to make it worth the sponsor's time and for them to accept us. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying you can apply to sponsor opportunities right now. Do you know your audience? Do you know how to portray that and tell the brands, like, hey, this is my audience? You can apply to opportunities right now. Yes, you should grow your traffic. Yes, you should improve your blog. Do you need to wait to apply to opportunities to do that? No, heck no. I didn't. I wasn't making any. First of all, I don't even want to show you what my website looks like. When I first started blogging, I guarantee you, I have not seen your blog before. I guarantee you it looks better than mine did. I didn't have a WordPress theme because I didn't know what a content management system was. So that was fun. Anytime you went to my site, it was broken. So sometimes it would load, sometimes it wouldn't. It was fun. And then I had to hand code all of my blog posts. So I would have to put the little, if you've ever done the HTML coding on your WordPress site, like putting the little carrots and everything before and after your sentences, I was doing that for every post. And I was not a coder by any means. I just didn't know there was another way. I was doing this like, how does everyone get so many things up so quickly? It takes so long for me. Even with that crap website, I will say I did eventually get a theme. I did get a WordPress theme, but it was a free theme and it was very ugly and outdated. I still got a sponsored post opportunity and I wasn't getting a whole lot of traffic. Like I said, 800 to 1,000 page views a month. And my site was broken half the time, but I had the right audience. So brands were interested in me. So yes, I think you can definitely still get opportunities. And it won't cost you. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to stop and grow your traffic. I know a lot of bloggers are just insecure about the number of followers they have, about how much traffic they get. And the thing is, you'll get there. It's going to happen. If you're consistent, and you are working on your blog on a regular basis, it will get there. It's just a matter of making sure that you're taking the right steps, you're going in the right direction. Now, if you're walking 100 miles in the wrong direction, I can't help you there. But yeah, if you're getting there, you'll get there. Chesley, you said 300 to 400 page views right now. That's not terrible. Like, everyone started somewhere, right? And I think that's pretty good. If you're getting that consistently, man, and you have an email list, I'll tell you, I was blogging for a couple of years before I even decided to get an email list because I didn't understand why I needed it. So a lot of bloggers I find, you guys don't give yourself enough credit. You're miles ahead of where I was when I first started. It took me a couple of years just to know basic things like you should have WordPress. So don't beat yourself up. You'd be surprised. There may be bloggers right now or brands right now who are looking exactly for your audience. But if you're not out there, if you're not putting yourself out there for them to find you, how would they reach out to you? And those are the things we're going to cover in Blogging Money Formula, making sure that you can get to a point where brands can find you because they're looking for you. There are tons of brands. You can talk to my team. Like, they're going through all these different influencer networks every day for Blogging Money Update to get people to sign up for it. To find opportunities and get people to sign up. Brands need bloggers. They just need to find the right ones. Yeah, no problem. I hope it was helpful for you. So I'm not seeing any other questions here. Again, thank you guys so much for joining on. I love not having to talk to myself during this whole event. So I appreciate the questions. If you have more questions along the way, I have my email address, editors@missmillmag.com. You can send your questions there, and I'd be happy to answer them about more blogging questions or blogging money formula or blogging money update. You have all the details there. And yeah, y'all just have a great day. And thanks again for jumping on. I'll see y'all next time.